Hello, my friends. Welcome back to A Common Touch of Fantasy. My name is Paul. Thank you for joining me today. This is a wrap-up video for the last 2 weeks of reading, my time management, and what I have planned for the future. My stats are 1 owned book finished, 2 audiobooks finished, 1 owned novella, which it was a reread, finished, and 3 library novellas finished, for a total of 38 and a half hours of actual reading. I do want to say something that I have not mentioned on my channel this year, is that one of my goals for the year is actually to read the Bible all the way through. I'm actually halfway through now, and that does take up a lot of my reading time. But I just wanted to mention that because sometimes I put up how many hours I read, but I don't mention that, I'm spending time reading my Bible, and I count that towards reading time. And so I am halfway through. I have a plan where I read certain sections of the Bible, like one section here on this day, one section there on this day. And it's been going relatively well, and I've always wanted to read the whole thing within a year. I haven't done it. I've tried it before in the past, but this year I'm actually making quite a bit of progress. Okay, let's get to the actual books. So I read, my TBR stats is now 11 out of 50. I added 2. I only finished 2 books from my TBR this last week. Wrath by John Gwynne is the final book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I think that this book wrapped up the whole series really well. I think that the battles and the strife with our characters against their main foes was fantastic. So by the end of this series, each individual character in our series that we consider good guys have like an antithesis bad guy that they've been battling basically the entire series. And so in this book, each one of them face off with each other, and it's just a great culmination of this entire story. The thing about this whole series is that the main character, Corbin, was the most uninteresting character in the whole series. A lot of times this happens with these epic fantasy books where the side characters is what makes these stories. And if the side characters don't grab me, then the series doesn't grab me. But with John Gwynne's series here, it worked. The side characters were fantastic, and that is when the emotion came out of me, when like a certain side character ended up beating this guy that's been like terrible and awful, and I was like, yeah, I was so excited about that. And ended well, and it was pretty good. I would recommend it to individuals that enjoy The Wheel of Time, that enjoy Michael J. Sullivan, David Eddings, those typical epic fantasy books, that likes Tad Williams. I think that this series is closely resembling the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series by Tad Williams. So it was pretty good. I finished my reread of the Traitor Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. This is a reread of mine. I did it on audiobook. The first read of this, I was one of the few people that did not like the book that much, and I am realizing that I'll just be frank and honest, that the political intrigue aspect of this book is over my head. That's all there is to it. I feel like that each individual scene, especially in the second half of the book, where there is a certain ruler and they're discussing their plans, I just completely zone out during those scenes, and I just don't follow it. I just zone out. It doesn't capture my interest or anything. I think it's a good book. I think it's well written. I thought the first half was phenomenal because it was more narrowly focused. The second half, though, it just felt like he was trying to add so much with so many different rulers and characters and providences and kingdoms and trying to move different pieces and try to do all that only within a certain amount of pages, and it was just difficult for me to follow. Good book, not for me. I probably will not continue the series, but I want to know what happens to Beru. Changeless by Gail Carriger. This is the second book in the Alexei Terabati Parasol Protectorate series. So in the first book, she meets this werewolf and they fall in love, and now she is Alexia McConnell, and she is married. And this is basically a book about her issues and conflicts with her marriage and her job as a supernatural investigator, basically. And within London, there was this weird pocket of energy where the supernaturals didn't have their powers anymore, and it's very reflective of her own powers. And so it's a mystery to try to figure out, why is this happening? What is going on? What's great about this book is it turned into a group of ladies coming together and going off on an adventure, which was fantastic. And in Victoria, England, and there's these bunch of different women. It was fantastic in that aspect. However, this story was very narrowly focused, and it wasn't all that interesting as they go to Scotland and visit her husband's former wolf pack, and it just kind of wasn't that interesting at that point. I'm hoping that the next book will be good. I think that the series is going in a direction where it's going to be less tied to London and more broad and open to the world, which I think I will enjoy more. So then I read the novellas from Martha Wells, the MurderBot Diary novellas. Now, All Systems Red was a reread for me. Now, I enjoyed it the first time I read it, but my headspace wasn't in a great moment at that time, and I didn't really understand the actual plot all that much. This reread, I did understand it quite a bit more, and I definitely enjoyed it more. It went from like a 3-star read to more of a 4-star read for me, and I really enjoyed it. It's basically, there is this robot organism that has half organic, half machine parts, and he is a security unit, and so he has a reputation of being too violent and impulsive, and basically follows the orders of the people that contract him. However, this certain bot, which he names himself MurderBot, has his regulator removed and hacked. So basically he can do whatever he wants, but he tries to do the right thing. But he is this very antisocial, anxious individual that just wants to watch television all day, basically. And this series is fantastic because of MurderBot, because of MurderBot's interaction with the world, with other robots, with his inner dialogue. That is what makes this series so good. The actual plot, the actual political, organizations and corporations, I don't find all that compelling, but it's good. I can understand why people love it so much. So as I read, though, I think the power and the influence of the novellas kind of decreased for me. My interest decreased as I kept on reading. And I think it was just because I read them back to back, and maybe I was just getting tired of them. Artificial Condition was good. In this, the highlight was him meeting another AI that was a part of a transport ship, and the relationship that him and Art have was fantastic. It was funny. I really enjoyed that. Finding out what happened to him in the past was very interesting. And I just, I enjoyed that aspect of him interacting with the world, which was basically all of these. That's what the main thing is. In the third one, he is now once again a security unit that is protecting a group of humans as they investigate this mining colony, basically. And he is trying to find evidence to go against the individuals that tried to kill his group of friends in the first book. And in this one, he battles other combat drones and robots that are trying to kill them, and a bunch of cool things happen. This has a great atmosphere in Rogue Protocol, and I think that this was, as far as the actual plot and the actual action scenes, this one was the best written one out of all of them. Now, Exit Strategy by Martha Wells. At this point, I think I was a little bit burned out, and maybe I should have taken a break. And also, I need to be very mindful of when I start reading certain parts of books at certain times of the day. If I'm tired, it's at the end of the day, and I'm trying to read the complex maneuvering of corporations and individuals trying to go against that corporation, and action scenes where the bot is hacking this system, that system, and this system to go to this area to do this thing. I just kind of got lost because I was tired, and it probably has nothing to do with the novella itself. But I just didn't enjoy this one as much. I thought the beginning was good. I thought the ending was good. I thought the middle. I struggled because I just wasn't following it all that much, and it was probably more than likely because I was tired while I was trying to read it. I was trying to force myself and push myself to finish it. So, but they were all good, and I think they deserve the praise that they get. So my goals, I've been doing good. I did a lot better the first week. My reading was almost to the 25 hours. I got up to like 23 and a half or something. But this last week, I have just struggled. I wasn't feeling all that great. And I only got 15 hours or so of reading this last week. But even though I was struggling, even though I was having a hard time finishing those goals, I did finish each one of those in the last 2 weeks. I haven't missed a day yet. Now, the lose 5 pound goal is going to be really close when I weigh myself after this month is over. Time management the last 2 weeks, my reading was off by like 11 and a half hours. I wanted to read 25 hours a week, 50 hours for 2 weeks, and I just did not get there. The rest of the individual goals here were pretty much on target, but mostly it was the reading that threw me off my goals. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from making videos. I'm going to make a wrap-up May video at the end of May, so watch out for that. I have some new goals that I'm going to be doing during the month of May, but I don't want to share those because I want to talk about them after I try to finish them and see what happens throughout the month of May. And I'll be reading more of the Hugo nomination things, The Black God's Drums, which I'm halfway through and enjoying, The Night Masquerade Binti by Corafor. We have my IL things on here, The Tea Master and the Detective by Baudard, and Space Opera by Valente, and Trail of Lightning by Rowan Horse. Those are my main reads in the next week or two, and I hope I enjoy one of those quite a bit. So I will see you at the end of May, where I'll discuss what I did during May, what I've read. Expect the video to be relatively long because it's wrapping up the entire month, but I'm going to give that a try and see how that works out. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you at the end of May. Have a great month, and I'll see you around.